before I begin, I want you guys to just consider something. Those of you who are married or have a significant other in your life right now, did you choose them? Would you choose them again? My topic is about arranged marriages, and I believe that arranged marriages are more beneficial for married couples because if you look at the data, the divorce rate in arranged marriages are a lot lower than couples who have picked their own choices. Married couples are more acquainted with each other in arranged marriages than you would knowing them originally. And couples in arranged marriages are also more compatible than just in bed. You know them more, you know the person you're with more. My first point is that the divorce rate in marriages that are not arranged is higher. And that's, if you look at the CIA World Factbook or other websites that list statistics for marriage rates, divorce rates, death rates, they will say that our divorce rate here in America is about 50%. So for every single one of you people in here who get married, chances are half of us will get divorced, at least according to statistics. And in countries that practice arranged marriages like India, the Middle East, in India, their arranged marriage rate is so low. In India, theirs is only about 1%, not even that much more. China, theirs is only 3%. So it makes me question, why would we be against arranged marriages? And most people would say, I would want to choose who I would be with. But if you look at arranged marriages, many of them are not, many couples may have not known each other first. They would be introduced by family members or other friends, for example, and they still know each other very well. The fear that in an arranged marriage you won't know your spouse because you did not pick them, you did not get to know them, is very false. In a book called The Mate Selections Across Cultures, there's an article about a woman who lives in Egypt. She's from Cairo, and her first husband was from the outskirts of Egypt, where they're more used to the farming, country life, and everything. She picked her first spouse, and that marriage didn't turn out too well because they are not very compatible in the sense of how they grew up. In an arranged marriage, even though you don't know necessarily who you're going to end up with, your parents, your guardians, whoever decides to select the suitors for your choice, they don't give you just say, here's one person, marry them. They normally give you a choice of different people, and from them, you actually talk to them. You do the whole courting ritual, and that's something we have all missed from just dating other people and what we call dating anyway, the whole let's go out and are we really together as a couple or not. And also my second point on that is that married couples are more acquainted with each other comparatively in an arranged marriages. Because we are not tempted to each other sexually necessarily at first, that lets us get to know one another through different ways, like our personalities, our different faults and whatnot, and that's what makes us fall in love with the other person. That's what an arranged marriage helps you do, and by doing that, you will definitely have a better marriage, and also, by having a better marriage, you definitely won't get divorced as well or as much. My other point is that couples in arranged marriages are more compatible than just sex. People, there's a pastor that I went to church, at the church I used to go to. His name was Ken Jensen, and he said in one of his sermons that no one is compatible. As human beings, we will all fight, we will all argue, and we will disagree. And in the cultures that practice arranged marriages, most of them are very, very religious. In religion, they also state that, you shouldn't divorce, it's a sin, and even if you don't believe that's a sin, the fact that you're in an arranged marriage helps your marriage because you want to keep it alive more, you want to save it, so you'll find ways to keep it together. You'll find ways to make yourselves compatible, find ways to live with your faults. And even though this happens in a normal marriage, there's more pressure to do it in an arranged marriage because you're not only doing it for yourself anymore, you're also doing it for the other person, and you're looking out for everyone who's going to be there and everyone who might get hurt. Arranged marriages also allow boundaries to be more defined between all of us by, like I said, we're not all compatible, no one is, and when you, in arranged marriages, most of them have nuptial contracts, and from there you say, this is what I expect, this is what you expect of me, and by having those boundaries defined, you'll get along better as two people because you know where the other person stands. And like I said, pretty much arranged marriages are much more beneficial for married couples. There's definitely the divorce rate to consider, and if you want to save your marriage, it's a lot easier to do it in an arranged marriage. There's also the fact that couples are a lot more acquainted with each other and don't have to deal with everything else, and that you just end up loving the person you're with, regardless of whether you've known them a long time or very shortly at all. Thank you.